Hey guys, it is Sleepless Authoress here, and I wanted to talk a little bit about why I write motivational poetry and what some of the benefits are of writing motivational poetry. But before I get into any of my personal reasons and whatever, I want to start with a Maya Angelou quote that I really like because I think it embodies a lot of what poetry can be to us. Poetry puts starch in your backbone so you can stand, so you can compose your life. I feel like this really speaks to resilience, and that is one of the big reasons why I think it's worth it to write motivational poetry. When I first started trying to write motivational poetry, what I was writing wasn't very sincere. I was just kind of looking around and reading stuff that other people wrote and went like, hey, I guess this is what the market likes. I guess this is what people like to read. So I just wrote a bunch of sunshine and daisies nonsense that didn't really resonate or mean anything. But I tried to stick with it, and as I kept trying to write motivational poetry, what I realized is that what motivational poetry should be is acknowledging our struggles, working through them, trying to find answers and make sense of them. It's kind of like positivity. It's not about denying the negative things in your life. It's about looking at them and working on them and trying to still choose a positive outlook at the end. So that's really the process that I try to do in my motivational poetry. So looking specifically at the benefits of why you also might want to write motivational poetry is that it really can do a lot to help you improve your mindset. It's really interesting for me because working through that process of writing about difficult times, but choosing to try to find the lessons in them and find the optimism at the end of the tunnel, it actually has helped me a lot try to be a little more optimistic in all facets of life and not a total pessimist all the time. I'd say the next big benefit, and one that is pretty obvious, is that you're lifting others up. When you write sincerely and you write from the heart and you still come up with a message that is motivational and inspirational, that can resonate with other people and that can inspire them to try to do some of that same personal development and thought work that you're trying to do by writing about these things. It's pretty interesting. An even bigger thing that I've seen with myself is that writing motivational poetry does help me improve my inner voice. My inner voice, that voice in my head that kind of narrates all my thoughts, it's usually not the most cheerful voice in the whole world. I remember reading this one thing that your inner voice echoes the voice that your parents talked to you with when you were a kid. I don't know if that's true or not. It's just interesting food for thought. But my inner voice was usually pretty pessimistic, usually didn't really lift me up at all, kind of was more that self-doubt and stuff. So, but by through writing a lot of motivational poetry and really trying to find the good in a lot of different events, it's kind of helped me improve my mental voice and help me choose optimism and choose positivity when it's appropriate. Another more external benefit of writing motivational poetry is that you are spreading uplifting messages and positive vibes, for lacking a better word, on a lot of platforms that are kind of saturated in negativity. There's a lot of, space out there for dark, sincere work, but there's also just a lot of stuff out there that is just straight up negative and not really productive or conducive to improving your mental health or anything like that. So I feel it can be good when you're writing really sincere, heartfelt, motivational messages that you are putting them out there on platforms or in different forms of media that might not have a lot of that. It's kind of a turning of the tides. You might go on Instagram or Twitter and it's all doom and gloom, bad news. But when you have that little spark of something motivational and inspirational, it's pretty nice. I'd say my last external benefit is that it will help your work reach a wider audience. One thing that I've noticed just from paying attention to what kinds of poetry books and things are bestsellers today is that most of the books that really do reach serious critical acclaim or have significant sales to really impact the author's lives and perhaps their bottom lines, a lot of those books are motivational. Most of them present problems, present dark issues, work through them throughout the process of writing and the process of the book, but end on that motivational note, reminding people that yes, we can grow, we can improve. And I feel it's going to help you reach a wider audience. So if you are a writer, that's a little added bonus. So I want to end with one more Maya Angelou quote, because writing motivational poetry, like, is super cliche, but it has been kind of transformative for me. Like, over the course of like almost 2 years, it's helped me like choose to look on the bright side and like choose not to let myself dwell in like negative feelings or on like toxic things. Like, I am guilty of doing the victim mentality. A lot of us are guilty of that sometimes. And by like writing about these things, it's really helping me move past that and look at things in like a healthier, more productive way. So this Maya Angelou quote, I think, really summarizes like the good that can be done from writing sincere, inspirational poetry. I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. And I feel like as a poet, that is kind of what we're working toward. We want to make people feel something. And if you make them feel something good and you make them feel motivated and empowered, to go out and try to do something and like improve their lives, that's a really good, honorable pursuit, I think, for writers to aspire to. So those are my thoughts on motivational poetry. I think it has some serious benefits, both, intrinsic and extrinsic. So if you haven't done it before, I would definitely recommend giving it a whirl. I will see you next time, guys. Bye.